This is Mark Leslie Lefebvre with Stark Reflections on Writing and Publishing, and you're about to hear an interview with a fellow bald, handsome guy, Dale L. Roberts. Now, Dale turned his hard work that he put into creating an indie publishing career into a YouTube sensation, and you're going to hear some tips about his writing, thinking about his audience, as well as the creation of self-publishing with Dale. Hey, Dale, thanks so much for hanging out with me today.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it.
So I want to go back into the very beginning of you getting into the writing business. What prompted you to want to write your first book?
It's a very unlikely story. I shouldn't be where I'm at today, but I'm a driven and obsessed type of person. Anytime I get myself neck deep in something, I really go all in. I was working as an activity director in the healthcare industry. Essentially, I was being paid to play with senior citizens. It was an awesome job. I'm not going to have this story. Like some people have this origin story of like they hated their boss. No, I loved my boss. Like their corporation was pushing them down. No, my corporation was lifting me up and they're promoting me on a regular basis. So I really loved it. And we had a corporate wellness coach and she found it that it was a tough nut to crack. She was trying to challenge me on the regular. And I could do 1,000 squats, 2,000 body weight squats. I could eat perfectly for 30 days straight. And eventually it got to the point to where she just said, you got so much great information. You should write a book. And I was like, challenge accepted. About a year later, I had just the worst hammered garbage you can imagine. First is always worst. And in this instance, it ended up being my first book. And I decided to go ahead and publish it through pretty much CreateSpace was the very first place. As you're familiar with CreateSpace, the Amazon-owned company that has now since merged with KDP Print. At any rate, I, before that, was looking at avenues of just self-fulfilling it. I was going to buy pallets of books and just distribute it as I saw fit. I wasn't going to become a published author. I didn't want a trade published deal. I just wanted to have a book that I can share with people and, of course, meet this challenge. Little did I know that it costs a lot of freaking money to buy a pallet full of books. And I don't know how to tell you, I was paid okay as an activity director, but not enough to be like throwing thousands into this. And my wife is, of course, always the voice of reason. And I was getting ready to just save up all this money. She's like, no, you're not going to do that. And that's why I went ahead and I found CreateSpace and found it was free, which I thought at first, I thought it was a scam. I was like, is this a scam? It's got Amazon's thing on it. Let's find out. And did all this research to find out, like, you get it published on Amazon? Is this still a scam? And next thing I know, my very first paycheck ends up being, I think, like $23 and some odd cents. And I was like, I'm going to be rich. And the rest is history.
So you started off with print in mind, right? You're going to write a book and it's print because you were not even familiar with ebooks, or it wasn't even a concern?
This is the part that shows you how ignorant I was back then. I was like, nobody reads ebooks. Now, mind you, this was 2013. I'm like,
early days.
Right, exactly. And it's like, this is like when it was the Kindle gold rush, like everyone and their mother was doing it. And I just honestly didn't think of doing ebooks. It wasn't until that I had the proof of concept, getting that first paycheck, that I said, okay, what happens if I can do this full time? What would the results be? And I know how driven I am. So I did put in my 1 month notice with my employers to pursue this.
That early?
Yeah. $20 in. Folks, you're watching this video. Don't do it on a $20 paycheck.
Don't do what Dale did?
No, do not do what Dale did. It is not a good idea. Or unless you like ramen noodles and frozen vegetables for months on end, that's essentially what ended up happening. Thankfully, My wife was already running an Amazon FBA business, so we at least had some money we could rely on. But we knew that at any time that FBA business could go belly up, that we could, lose a lot of money. And it was some real dry times, I'd say, for my first 2 years in self-publishing. I learned how to eat the veritable horse manure sandwich and enjoy it for a while there. And so that's, ebooks. Yeah, that was always one I just kind of, I thought ebooks wouldn't sell. Like, nobody reads those. Now I read them all the time.
So how did you, so, I mean, you knew about CreateSpace, you found out the print thing, it was working. What was the first book actually?
It was called The Three Keys to Greater Health and Happiness, Unlock Your Greater Life.
Okay.
It ended up being retitled as something that was a little bit more SEO friendly, and it was
Right.
easier to remember because like no one's looking up how to unlock your greater life. No one's looking that up. And yeah, so it's still looking back at it, it's cringeworthy, but the funny thing is it still has positive reviews on it. So I don't take it down. I did end up putting up a second edition of it because it was horrible. I wasn't
Right.
utilizing an editor.
Well, it was your first book, right? So
Yeah, I was like, editors? I'm like, that's for trade published people, suckers. Yeah. I needed an editor and bad. And thankfully, when I got one, I discovered that I was like, there must be some mistake. Did you just like drop an ink, like red ink all over this accidentally? And yeah, it was that bad.
So right now, I mean, going to YouTube, one of the second biggest search engine or third biggest search engine in the world, depending, or first, depending, um, I can find help because all I have to do is go to Self-Publishing with Dale. But when you started, there was no Self-Publishing with Dale. So where did
No.
you find the information that you needed to kind of make that transition?
I piecemealed a lot of it together just through YouTube videos because as you can probably remember back in 2013, 2014, there was a lot of self-appointed experts and gurus in this business. And so all I did was consume as much free content as I could until I kind of discovered, I'm like, okay, these $50, $100 paycheck months just isn't cutting it. So then I started to invest in courses and eventually I invested in coaching. And that's where I started to see things taking off. Getting the courses initially gave a little bit of a bump. It kind of further validated the direction I was going, but there were still some areas that I was a bit ambiguous to me. And that's why hiring a coach was so pivotal. And I literally went from having a couple $100 a month, $300 a month to having $1,000 or more per month. Just because I was able to get somebody to go, okay, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, correct this, and then do this. And I was like, wow. And then I did it, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. And then I'm like, it's working.
So what was it about the coach then that actually, pushed you? What was that sort of tipping point into actually making it happen?
It was getting that coach that was able to get it to where I could clarify my vision because I had a vision. I was like, I'm just going to make money. I make more money. I want to pay bills with this. But I was just kind of doing the shotgun method. I was kind of spraying and praying and hoping for the best. And he was able to come in and tell me with an unbiased view of this is doing really good right here. The rest of this stuff, stop doing it. And that's really what I was doing because I was functioning as a small publishing house because I wasn't just producing the Dale L. Roberts brand stuff. I was also putting out additional works with ghostwriters and so on and so forth. But for me, I was writing my own stuff. It was funny because he could tell what I took the most pride in. What was getting the most results was the stuff I was writing. So that's why I just doubled down on that stuff. And he even told me, go back to the well. You got to keep going back to that well till it runs dry. And he's like, I doubt it will ever run dry. And that's where I really got it to where I could focus. And the other thing is with any time that you hire a coach or a trainer of some sort, somebody that holds you accountable. So if he tells you, okay, I need you to finish your manuscript by next Monday, you're going to make it happen. Whereas I say to myself, I'm going to finish my manuscript by next Monday. Monday shows up and I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to go eat some chocolate and binge watch Orange is the New Black on Netflix.
Okay. So I was wondering if your own background in health and fitness, if that actually allowed you to understand the importance of that coach, that personal trainer, that person who was going to, again, as you said, accountability, I think is key, right?
Yeah, it really does. The experience I had as a personal trainer, 4.5 years at a privately owned gym, that really did help out. I didn't see the value for it when it came to self-publishing, hence why I just spent so much time grinding my gears and going, well, I'll just Google the information. Here's the thing is, folks, that I say this often, is time versus money. Do you got more time or do you got more money? And what I found was I was spending an inordinate amount of time having to sift through the rubble, figure out what is applicable to me, and then try to discern, does this make sense to me? Is this going to be something that's going to take my brand in the right direction? And I couldn't tell. Whereas I could go to somebody that had already been successful, that I was walking in the steps that I wanted to walk in, and would run up the flagpole to figure out, okay, does this make sense for me? And he would be able to tell me this. So I couldn't find myself affording it at first, because I'll be frank with you, it cost me hundreds to thousands of dollars to get that coaching. And it wasn't cheap, but investing in myself was enough that I started to see those results. And it was probably 6 months into it. And he even told me, it's going to probably take about 6 months for you to get good traction. And I swear to you, it was 6 months to the day. And I was like, you planned this. You're a ninja.
That's fantastic. Now you started, I believe you started your YouTube channel 2014?
You're close. It was actually 2016, April. So it's actually been about 3.5 years I've been on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. I was thinking, because I thought, wow, it seems like you started relatively. So how many books had you already produced by the time you said, hey, I've got information that I can use to help other people?
I would say, let's see here. Okay, he got me to do 9. It was 11. It had to have been about a dozen, no more than about a dozen and a half books, about 18 books.
Okay.
And with me being in the fitness niche, it's easier to produce, say, short reads, because when people are looking for, say, a workout, you don't need to be bloviating and making it, War and Peace, for crying out loud. People just want their workout. They want an explanation of each of the exercises, and they're done. So I was able to put together a lot of these micro reads. So yeah, it was probably about 12 to 18 altogether. And that's when I saw that tipping point. And it was about January of 2016 that I saw that flip. Okay. And I started getting interviews. The thing is, with the interviews, was nice. It was a great opportunity. But I wasn't ready for something like this, because then I started having other self-publishers reach out to me. And it was eating and etching away at the time that I had to build even more, because getting, $1,000 or more per month is great, but it's not going to pay the bills for my wife and I if I don't see this grow even more. So I had to just really drill down. And so that I'm like, okay, instead of answering 50,000 emails and messages, answering the same thing over and again, why don't I just do some videos over on YouTube? And of course, instantly I'm thinking, just upload a video on YouTube and you're going to become like the next PewDiePie, but for self-publishing. And this is literally like what I was thinking. I was that cocky, thinking I was going to be able to become viral. And after my first month of just doing that, I discovered some videos, I'd get 3 views on them, 12 views. It was sad, and I became very frustrated. But I at least knew that anytime someone would message me or email me, they would have a question, I would send them those videos on YouTube. And that's pretty much where the birth of Self-Publishing with Dale had started. And you might see 2014 on my About page. It might have been that I started up that channel then for some other purposes, and I just I turned it into
something. Oh, you modified it. Okay, that's probably where I misinterpreted that.
Could be.
It's fascinating. So, you were trying to save yourself time so you can be more efficient and productive, but not say no to people. He's like, okay, I want to answer you, but here's the answer. I've already done it for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's something I do to this day as well. I think some people get put off sometimes when they email me. They don't understand that having nearly 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, 2,000 members inside a Facebook group, as well as an additional 300 there, 800 students inside a course, I get tons of emails. So sometimes I'm like, hey, could you ask it over on a video, or could you post it inside the Facebook group so I can answer more people at once? Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll send them to a YouTube video, because chances are likely with nearly 350 videos on my YouTube channel, 400 I've already purged from the channel. So that's nearly 800 videos about self-publishing I've done in 3.5 years. I've got the answer in most instances. If I don't have the answer, I'll probably go turn on the camera, shoot it, and then upload it.
Okay, so let's get into the logistics of this, because a lot of writers are suggesting, hey, you should try YouTube. You should try and get some video content out there. Is there a core minimum of what you need to do it effectively? It's not just a crappy built-in webcam or whatever, Sam Steadicam on my phone. What's the basic requirements?
You're not wrong.
Oh, really?
This right here. You have yourself even a webcam on your MacBook Pro. Even if you've got this generic, Lenovo laptop, it has, sorry, Lenovo. Hopefully they're not going to yell at you. Yeah. So, either way, if you've got the resources like that, all you need is just to go. It doesn't need to be sexy. It doesn't need to be perfect. I
Okay.
think too many people start to think, and they'll see, like, for instance, I get some coaching students that, like, they will look at my video channel. They're like, oh, I want to have like that flashing bumper that you have at the beginning, which they don't know. It's called a bumper. It's usually like that, where it has your logo come in there. And, oh, I need to get that name plate right down there. And no, here's the thing is, and even my wife is testimony to this. She just opens up her MacBook Pro and shoots. And she actually has a following of 4,000, 5,000 subscribers over there. And she will get upwards of 60 to 70 people that will show up to her live broadcast. And she just does it with MacBook Pro. It drives me crazy, by the way, because I'm always like, you can come over and use my PC. But that just kind of illustrates the point that you don't need to make it perfect. Now, if there's one thing I would recommend is it's with everything. You have to be consistent. You can't just go and fire off one video and think that you're going to be able to build a following or get it to where you're building enough of a critical mass that it will go over and launch your book really, really well.
Right.
You're going to have to probably have at least, and this is something I learned this past weekend at a conference, and this is one thing he said, is at least one video upload per week. If you're going to leverage YouTube the right way, one video, set it at a consistent time so people know when to expect to see your content, and make sure that it's just not just a consistent time. It's not just a consistent amount of videos, a consistent message. So if you're a fiction author, kudos. That's really awesome. You're a creative person. But don't make the mistake of, I'm going to go ahead and vlog one day, and the next day I'm going to talk about the villains I'm writing in my upcoming science fiction military book. And then the next day I'm going to show you how I do doilies. You have to be consistent.
Right.
So if you're going to build an author brand over on YouTube, I would say get it to where it closely relates to what it is that you're producing. Nonfiction, it's way easier. You're solving a problem to somebody, whatever they're looking for. So let's just say, for instance, you're a dog groomer, okay, and you put out a dog grooming book. This is simple. All you got to do is just open up a YouTube channel, how to groom your dog. That's very simple. How to use these type of shears. Here's the best type of combs to use. And you can build things off it. So consistent time, consistent amount that's coming out weekly, preferably, and consistent message. That is huge across the board if you want to see any success and leverage YouTube the way it should be.
Okay. And there seems to be a very strong element of authenticity as well. Like you're being yourself, right? Maybe a persona of yourself, but you're being yourself. You're not putting on airs or trying to fake anything.
I wish I could tell you that I fake all this. A lot of people are just like, this guy's so obnoxious. He's not like this. Folks, I'm like this. Ask my wife. Sometimes it embarrasses her. She's like, oh, stop it. Be authentic. Absolutely. We're in the era of authenticity. Authenticity sells. So if for some reason I'm sure some author is going to watch this right now, and vast majority of authors don't feel comfortable in front of a camera. So this might feel awkward. Your first video, it's like my first book was. The first is worst, all right? Get it out of the way. Start to get used to shooting this, and you might watch that video and go, oh gosh, this is terrible. But if you're staying consistent, let's just say you do one video per week over the next year. That's 52 videos. If you don't improve within 52 videos, then maybe you should consider something different. But I'm thinking that after 52 videos, you're going to get better at it. You're going to improve. You might seem rigid on your very first video, but eventually after 52 videos, 100 videos is what I usually tell people. As soon as you get past that 100 video mark, you're going to feel very, very comfortable. I heard Roberto Blake, he's actually very big in the YouTube space. He said it takes about 1,000 videos before you actually discover what your voice is like and how to effectively communicate as authentically as possible without being, cringeworthy.
Okay, so it's almost like that Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours work in terms of translated into video production.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I tell you, I'm definitely at the 10,000 hour mark at this point. But then again, I continue to try to get better. I know that I have a lot of filler words. Right. I know that I say and sometimes, and every now and then I just get hung up on stupid things. And all of us are that way. And I've spent enough time inside the YouTube content creator space to kind of see that they're like authors are, because we're all publishing something. We're all
Right.
trying to realize something creatively through whatever avenue that might be. It could be Amazon, Apple, it could be YouTube, it could be Twitch, LinkedIn video, so on and so. Everybody's trying to express themselves. And those that become successful at this is because they continue to persevere despite all odds, that they go, beyond that really bad interview or this terrible, broadcast, or, I'm not saying this interview is bad, by the way, folks. I see Mark over there smiling. I'm like, no, this interview is not bad. I hope it's not bad. Say so inside
I'm
the
enjoying it
comments.
myself.
Correct.
Yeah. You could just comment on this video and say how much you love the two bald men.
Yes, there we go. Yes. By the way, I did have long hair before this. I saw that you had it. I wanted to make you feel comfortable.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. You made me feel better. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So, so for your own schedule for self-publishing with Dale, is there a consistent day and hour roughly that you say, I'm going to release a video every Monday at 6 or however that works?
Yeah. So for me, I have a built-in schedule that I want to at least release one video per week. I have found that when I pulled my audience through a community tab feature, they were liking Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I do Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. and then I do Saturdays at 12 p.m. So I get those consistently, and I try to do what I call a pre-recorded video of some sort. So let's say, for instance, Drafted Digital is a great example. Last week, when it was announced Hoopla was in a relationship with Drafted Digital, I was like, this is big news. I need to get this out ASAP. So I turned on the camera, went ahead, I shot that, and I pre-recorded it. I did all the editing and fancy little transitional things. The video probably took me altogether to produce about an hour, and that includes uploading and getting a good thumbnail put together for it. So I usually try to do at least one pre-recorded video as well as 2 live videos. And this is not including as well the additional content that I'll feed out through LinkedIn, Twitch. I'll do, like, for instance, a couple hours ago, I just got off of Twitch to do live video. That one's a little bit looser. It's a podcast recording format.
Okay.
Twitch is live centric. They're all about live, whereas YouTube, people tend to want to have the pre-recorded content so they can hit that 2x or skip forward on the content that they want to kind of get to.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's interesting, actually. So I'm just counting. So just for the YouTube channel alone, there's usually 3 videos a week, 1 pre-recorded and 2 live.
Typically, yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
so
it can go a little bit more.
All right. And because you have a schedule, and I have seen some of your videos, and happy belated birthday, by the way, but
Thanks.
I have seen some videos where you're live and people are anxiously, and my son's one of those people who he's anxiously ready to go watch his YouTube favorite people at certain times because he doesn't want to miss it, because he wants to chat with his friends about it while he's watching and then doing the comments and everything. You have regular viewers that are there live to post questions, etc.
Yes, it is. On a slow live, I'll have about 35. On a more, fast-paced one, 60 to 70. Okay. So that will just, like, that whole live chat will build and get so crazy and out of control. I get sometimes some authors will get really upset at me. They're like, why didn't you answer me? And I'm like, did you see how many people were there? I can't keep up with every comment.
Credits. I couldn't keep up with it.
Right, exactly. It becomes overwhelming. But it's live is the thing right now. I would recommend to anybody that wants to start into this space, that wants to make it as simple as possible for themselves, so they're not. Here's the issue that a lot of people will do is, and this is almost like the Instagrammers, where they'll take the picture. Oh, that's not quite right. Take the picture. That's not quite right. You do live video. Guess what? Get ready. You're going to have mustard on your face.
There's no second take. Yeah, exactly. You could
no second take.
Hours trying to do the first take.
Right. Yeah.
You're done. Yeah. Okay.
And the nice thing is,
so go ahead.
Yeah. The nice thing is you're taking action. You're taking action. And that's the problem that a lot of people do with pre-recorded tape, is they're expecting it to be perfect. And don't let it be perfect, but also don't just relax and go, well, that was good enough. I tend to like to go back and reanalyze how I could have made my stream a lot better. What was some of the things that I was doing that could have probably made somebody tune out? Because people do leave and people do unsubscribe from my stuff. It's important to understand what it is that is getting people to tune in and consume your content, because then you want to double down on that. You want to get it where people are coming back for more. Because if you start to see you're getting people unsubscribing every time that you go live, or they're worse yet, no one's showing up, probably doing something wrong.
Okay. All right, cool. So it sounds it's really interesting. I'm listening to how you understand your audience, right? For the fitness and health books, you understand the audience and what their needs are. You don't give them the over padded BS. You give them just what they need to get what they want and move on because they're busy. And you do the same thing. You consider your audience for the videos and learning about self-publishing. You give them what they're looking for, plus some entertainment along the way, which just comes with the territory, I think.
I'm a natural at it. I wish I could tell you that. Yeah, it's that's the whole thing is this whole business of entertainment, for lack of better words, because it is, or some people call it edutainment. A mixture of education and entertainment. It's a very interesting business in that everything works the same, whether you're an author or you're a video publisher of some sort. Understand who your audience is. Who is your ideal avatar? Who are you communicating with? And figure out what they want and you deliver it. Don't go the other way. Don't start delivering and then try to find your audience, because you're going to be learning really, really quick that nobody cares about you or your message. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And that's the big thing is when I first started out, I was like, me, here we go. I'm going to show me. I'm going to go ahead and show me doing this. And I would do videos that I thought people wanted because I would give some questions. I'm like, oh, naturally. I'm like, oh, people want to learn how to do headings, and I would do a video on that. I'm like, why is this doing so terribly? Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. So it's understanding your audience. What do they want? And delivering those needs. Now, there's nothing wrong with you being selfish every now and then. So for instance, like you saw last week, I had a birthday celebration. That was 100% selfish. I wanted to do a trivia. I wanted to kind of do my thing. And I knew that if the video performed poorly, which it actually did really well, then, I was okay with losing that. But if you're getting into this, much like when you're publishing or writing a book, know who your audience is ahead of time and deliver what they want. Otherwise, you're going to have to temper your expectations with the reality of what's going to happen afterwards, which is there's a good chance no one wants it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now I have to ask, because it's lurking over your right shoulder and it's a pop-up that I see on your videos. What's the significance of that banana?
The banana sticker. Actually, Mark, you get a banana sticker.
Oh my goodness. I'm so lucky.
Yep. So I got a banana sticker. So the funny thing is sometimes I'll say things and I'll be like, that was stupid. And people will start cracking up laughing. And the banana sticker kind of started out kind of like, when you were in like grade school, you get a gold star, gold star in your work if you were doing really good. The banana sticker kind of works the same way. I saw it on a show called Adult Swim, Metalocalypse. And they were working with a psychologist at some point or another, and every time they did something good, they got a banana sticker. And, you look it up on YouTube. It's freaking hilarious, and they're always fighting over these banana stickers. Well, one of the times I was on a live or something, someone said something really cool. I was like, you get a banana sticker. And then for some reason, someone kept saying, like good answers. And I'd be like, you get a banana sticker. And it started out as a virtual thing until eventually I had this nifty little thing here, and I use it on my lives. It's called an Elgato Stream Deck, excuse me. And anytime someone does something right, and you can kind of see it says banana sticker, I'll hit that, and the little animation will pop up, and it'll share that. And then every now and then, people lose their minds over a banana sticker. I'll go, who wants a banana sticker? You will see live people just going, whoa, nuts over it. And I will send this out. These are grown adults. And it's so amazing. And what I'll do is I'll typically, anytime I send out a banana sticker, I'll write a private message on the very back of it. I'll throw it inside the mail. I'll send it out to them. No charge to them.
That is
yeah, it's kind of that psychological validation, but it's kind of tongue in cheek. We're all laughing together on it. But in the same instance, this is really cool. And I recommend those of you that are authors out there that are looking to kind of utilize this, you're an entrepreneur or something, freaking stickers. Like, this is so simple, a really easy way to get some type of sharing without having to badger somebody. So I'll send this in the mail, guarantee you someone's going to go ahead, they're going to throw it on their laptop and they'll take a picture, they'll tag me. And then people start to go, what's this banana sticker thing? And then they start following and consuming my content. They're like, banana stickers, all right.
That is fantastic. I love that. And again, it's part of the brand, it's part of the fun, and it's also, and you're also bringing digital into the real world, and it's suddenly this, I mean, come on, I grew up writing. I would practically hump the mailman's leg when he came to the door. I was worse than the dog when he came because I was hoping for my acceptance letter from a publisher. That's not the case anymore because it's usually through email, but the mail is still a mystique to me. It's this magical thing that I get to go take the mail key and walk down the street to go get the mail. It's an important part of my day for weekdays. Getting a banana sticker in the mail. Oh my God, this is so, it's like getting a no prize from Marvel Comics, which would never arrive, but you would just know that you got a no prize because they mentioned it in the letters to the editors. Like, I love that. I love that it, just how viral it became. It's sort of evidence of the uniqueness that is silly, but became a thing just out of random. And maybe that's part of the culture that you're propagating as your brand is out there.
Yeah, it's building that community and that sense of community. And anytime that I tell people that I'm grateful for them and what they're doing, I'm meaning it genuinely. I tell people, thank you for coming on live and sending this, like typically it's always like a thanks on the very back of it. Thanks for the support and encouragement. I really appreciate everything. Because this is nuts. You would have told me 10 years ago that I would have been, first of all, making a living from writing and publishing books. I would have been like, what? If you would have told me I was going to be getting on video online and getting paid for that, I would have been like, okay, that's just insane. So it's crazy. That's why I'm so forever grateful. And I always know that who knows, maybe this train will come to an end eventually. I'm going to try to enjoy it as I go along. And I figure building a sense of community, this is crazy, like banana stickers. And sometimes people will drop the emotes on their comments because they know the banana sticker, or they'll say something in a Facebook group like, and I'll answer and they'll give me a banana sticker. And I'm like, wait, I get banana stickers. You don't do it. Okay, actually, you can do it too because I want your banana stickers.
You want all the banana stickers. Well,
absolutely. I want a chest full of them.
Well, Dale, I really appreciate you taking the time to give some edutainment here for the Stark Reflections listeners. So where can people find out more about you and all the great things that you're doing?
Head over to selfpublishingwithdale.com. Actually, I just went through a whole new site revamp and a facelift. Big shout out to my assistant. She's such a fantastic person when it comes to WordPress. But yeah, head over to selfpublishingwithdale.com. You're going to find out everything about where I am on YouTube, what I'm up to, any of the podcasts, any blogs I've done. It's pretty much the hub. Rather than me telling you, go to YouTube, go to Twitch, scratch your head, pat your belly. Selfpublishingwithdale.com is so simple.
That is simple. And Dale, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.